Good morning to one and all. Now we are going to discuss about the topic Grand Multipara. Definition: a Grand Multipara relates to a pregnant woman who has got previous 4 or more viable births. In previously we know my grandmother had 11 children. So like that previously it was no normal phenomenon, that is grand multipara, more than 4 or more children, it is known as grand multipara. So there may be more complications occur if the woman become pregnant for many times. So in pregnancy, we can see the complication. There is increased incidence of abortion because spontaneous or induced abortion may occur. Because my grandmother had a, she is telling she became pregnant 14 times. She became pregnant, but now she had only 11 children. So there is chances of abortion. She had abortion 3 times. Next second is inherited obstetric hazards such as malpresentation due to pendulous abdomen, because many times she became pregnant, the uterus laxity is lost, and the uterus become pendulous. That's why because of this pendulous abdomen there may be more chance of malpresentation and increased pelvic inclination resulting from associated lordosis. Many times she became pregnant, there is a more chance of lordosis. And next is the due to multiple pregnancy, then placenta previa. So these are the inherited obstetrical hazards. Next is the medical disorders such as anemia. Because of many times she became pregnant, there is more chance of iron deficiency or megaloblastic anemia. Next is hypertension with or without superimposed preeclampsia, cardiac disability, exaggerated manifestations of hemorrhoids and varicose veins, and hiatus hernia also will be there. There are some medical disorders due to the recurrent pregnancies. Next is prematurity. Due to the more time pregnancy, there are, a baby may have the prematurity and preterm labor may be occur. Next we can see the labor. There are labor problems. There are increased incidence of cord prolapse due to the malpresentation. We already told there may be more chance of malpresentation. So that's why cord prolapse may occur. And if the head is not fixed, there is a floating, there is more space in between the, so there is cord prolapse may occur. And cephalopelvic disproportion. Cephalopelvic disproportion is in the fetal head and pelvis diameters are disproportional occur. That is a cephalopelvic disproportion. It is occurring due to increased size of the fetus and secondary contracted pelvis, which is mostly related to the ill-nourished mothers, and forward projection of the sacrum due to subluxation of the sacrococcygeal joints, thereby diminish the inlet conjugate. Inlet conjugate it is diminished due to the subluxation of the due to the forward projection of the sacrum. Okay, because of all these problems, there is more chance of cephalopelvic disproportion. Already told, increased size of fetus, secondary contracted pelvis, and forward projection of this sacrum. So because of all these problems, there is more chance of cephalopelvic disproportion. This usually we understood during the time of labor. Next is obstructed labor. It is due to malpresentation, malposition, and cephalopelvic disproportion. We already explained. And next is the rupture uterus. If the obstruction remains undetected and left uncared. So if there is a cephalopelvic disproportion and obstructed labor, it remains undetected, and we should not understand during for a long period. There is a chance of rupture of the uterus. Next is a postpartum hemorrhage due to atonic uterus. Many times she became pregnant, the uterine tonicity will be because this lacks the uterus. That is the tonicity is lost. or increased association of adherent plaster, or due to the increased collagen deposition in between the muscle fiber. Because of all these problems, there is more chance of postpartum hemorrhage. Next, sixth one is the shock due to ill health. We already told many times she became pregnant, there is a chance of iron deficiency anemia and megaloblastic anemia. She used to lose her blood. Okay, that's why there is a chance of ill health, hemorrhage, or unrecognized uterine rupture. The last one, operative inference. Because of the complication, there is more chance of operative inference. These are the complications. In the PPUD, we can see increased morbidity due to the intranatal hazard. Due to intranatal hazard, more chance of increased morbidity, and subinvolution. We already explained, due to the loss of laxity of the uterus, there is a chance of subinvolution, and falling lactation. When she pregnant more time, her age is more. Okay, so that's why there is a chance of falling lactation. Next, we can see the management. The cases are considered as high risk as much they require adequate antenatal care and should have a mandatory hospital delivery. Because we have to consider this case as a high risk, because of many complications may occur. That's why we have to consider this condition as a high risk. And during labor, we have to follow some guidelines, such as pelvic assessment should be done as a routine to rule out any cephalopelvic disproportion, and presentation of position are to be checked, because we already told there is a more chance of malpresentation, and undue delay in progress should be viewed with the concept that there may be chance of cephalopelvic disproportion. Due to cephalopelvic disproportion, there is a chance of undue delay of the progress, and to remain vigilant against PPS. We already told there is a chance of adherent placenta, and she may have the iron deficiency anemia, so that's why we have to be vigilant about the postpartum hemorrhage. So that's all about the grand multipara. I think all of you are understood about the grand multipara. If the woman become pregnant more than 4 times, that is known as grand multipara. She may develop many complications. That's why in the antenatal and the internatal period, we should be more vigilant to save the mother and the child. That's all about today's topic. Thank you to all.